Right, muckers. Well, this is the dozer. You can probably remember this one from the will it start that we did with it.
Stop it.
It's the way she goes. Sometimes she goes, sometimes it doesn't. She didn't go. It's the way she goes.
Well, I guess we're going the fuck home then.
I reckon she's going to want some of the good stuff.
Proper stuff?
Yeah.
Cause being a can.
Yeah. Give it a go. It's over 60 years old. It had a hard working life, and then it was parked up and basically didn't run for another 30 years. Now you remember we replaced all the rams. They're all brand new, all new seals, hoses and everything were done on this. Now when we did the will at start, there was some old duffer in the comments that said, oh, if they knew what they were doing, they'd have just used that little toggle bar underneath there and that'd have fired straight up. Go fucking lay down. That's just an advance and retard switch on there, just to make for easy cold starting, not to bleed it through. For fuck's sake.
Nonce.
So these are the pieces we replaced. You see here. And here. So when I removed all these pieces several months ago, I did film it, and here's how it went. You've seen this on the channel before when we got it all serviced and running. Now I've taken the cab off because the cab actually wants some work, but it's a lot easier to access everything. Plus I can then look at the cab, because the cab wants squaring up. I think the cab got hit at some point with a tree bough or something. I just tweaked the corner so it all wants straightening up, bits welding in.
It's a piece of junk.
But anyway, that's a winter project. It's nothing that's, you know, hurting at the moment. Now the first bit I want to do is there's some play in the linkage for putting the blade up and down. So I'll show you what we're going to do with that. So there's the lever you use to put the blade up and down. But there's some sideways play in there. There's a bit of play in that pin there. And there's some play in this one here at the front. Plus a bit of slop in there, which we can probably bush that, you see. But anyway, I've got to take it all apart first, and that's not going to be very easy, I don't think, because they haven't been moved for a year or two. Anyway, that's what we're going to do. We're going to take this whole plate off as well, so the whole thing can go, and then I will have somebody look at machining this and maybe sleeving it or whatever. But right, we'll get on first. We'll try to free these adjuster nuts so I can get the units off in one. Right, so here's what I've done. I've obviously removed the split pin out of here, and the little there's a clip goes over there, stop that going back in. I've marked, you can see there, I've marked this so that it can go back on in the right position. It works in that position, so when it goes back on, it should work again. Now, oh, I've undone that, come out quite freely actually. I'm going to now do the same thing there. So you've got the pin and you've got this clip, this sort of clip here. I'll remove those, but then I'm going to take these bolts off and these bolts off here, and then that whole unit should come off, because I want this and that end, and I want the other end. Don't need to take the rod. I just want a bit of straightening. I can straighten that, it's not a problem. But I do want to take this end here, and I want to take probably this just off so I can see where that play is there. Look. Right, just something of interest in here. You can see there's a thread in there. So that pin is threaded there. So you have to turn the pin. It doesn't just pop out. And that's what that clip does. It stops it from turning. So the pin stops, you know, stays in. So but you take the clip off, take the split pin out, clip off, and then that can turn. You can draw it out. So now this can come. This can come off the end here. Adjustment on there. Right, that's that off. First bit off. Good. I'm just draining a bit of oil down. I want to get to this control pin. The rod goes into the actual, with a pump and all, it's actuated. So we're just letting a bit out there. People say, why don't you let it where the filter housing goes? That's because on a big spring it just comes straight out and it just gushes everywhere, but you can do it controlled like this. So what I'm going to do is take this off. Please not going to be a little oil gush out. I don't think there will be. I think there might be another inspection plate behind this. But anyway, first things first, I'm just going to take this off and just have a look. Okay, so I've taken the front plate off, front cover. And this is what's in here. I've drained the oil down to obviously below that level. So this is obviously an oil reservoir. This is obviously where the strainer is, where you pour your oil in from the top there. There's your pump, okay. And then you've actually got your hydraulic sort of spill units there. So you can see where you move the lever backwards and forwards on the blade. It lifts and lowers and raises the plunger, which is obviously in that control block there. And yeah, here we go. I'll just try and get these pins out and have a look in there. Okay, so here's all the bits that are off now, and this is the main control rod which goes through the side of the dozer, and that bit there then goes onto the top of the actual hydraulic spill block, and obviously when you twist that it raises and lowers the blade, and on the end of there you put that bit, and that bit goes onto this rod here which runs from the front of the dozer right down to the back, which then connects onto this here, which is the lever you operate it with, up and down. But that main control rod is really badly worn. Look.
That was fucked. That was a bit fucked.
So what we need to do is take this new piece of steel and make a new version of that. But we're going to need somebody with a lot of patience and a lot of skill. So who do we know that has the skill and ability to do that?
I'm just going to now drill out as large as I can and then bore out this until this pretty much comes off. And then I'll just clean all the grinding stuff off later on. But then I can weld it straight to this and that will complete that.
Now, you can watch the full video of how Kimberly rebuilt all those parts of the bulldozer by following the link, which I'll put in the description box below this video. All right. So there we go, muckers. Basically short and sweet, but there's plenty to go and see. Like I said, you can go back and watch the O'Donovan's video.
I'm going to give you to do, because you've got more time than me.
Oh yeah, I have, haven't I?
Do you not think he's got more time than me? Those that think he's got more time on me, say yeah.
I haven't got time on a Friday to stand near the lamppost.
Well, I'll
with a company that the sister sold. Do you know what I mean?
I'll keep saying that.
Where we look at their fantastic collection of old classic trucks and tippers, and some modern stuff as well, plus a little surprise that we might be doing for a Will It Start. There's obviously then Kimberly's channel. There's tons to see on there. It's projects she's going through and doing.
Put a little bit of two-stroke oil down the cylinder and just to try and lubricate it in case there was any damage done. I'm not going to take it apart for this cheap old whacker plate here.
What are you talking about, Kimberly?
But obviously the bulldozer stuff. Then there's the Fudweasel, who's getting on with the 165 and really cracking on now with that old 1080.
There's a special place in hell for people who use fasteners that are too long. And that special place in hell will be shared by people who use 5 different sizes of fastener to hold that one floorboard on.
But anyway, I've got to go back to editing, more content for you lot. So yeah, I know, looks like it's that time again. Anyway, until the next one, do well.